Welcome to the Incomplete Skeptic. I am considering a few things here as I go through my day, and I have so many memories, so many things that people have taught me and shared with me, and that have really helped improve the quality of my life. And one of those great many things I think is applicable, especially today's day and age where so many of us are in pain over past injuries, whether it be societal, cultural, personal. But boy, I tell you, man, there's a lot of resentments going on. Some of them are justified in one context of contemplation, of course, and then I just have to say that those are the most dangerous resentments of all, the ones that are true, that somebody has actually done to us, or that we've done to ourselves, or that we've done to others. To love others as we love ourselves can only be accomplished through the auspices of no resentments, or at least the most pure variety, if you will. Soren Kierkegaard said that a pure heart comes through a purity of will, and that is to will one thing. And if we will love, and I think God is love, then we're all about God's business. But I think we get kind of tricked into believing that our self-esteem is more important than God esteem. So we're getting things kind of turned around here. And how do we reestablish our connection with our higher power, God? At least that's what I call my higher power, God. And I think prayer is one way, silence, and contemplating the deeper nature that we were born with and are again born with in this very moment. It's like we're giving birth to new love because God is always new, love is always new. It is always a refreshing experience when we have it. Sometimes it's miraculous. Sometimes the love seems boring and mundane. But I think when that's the case, it's because we've humanized the love. One of the early lessons that I was alluding to when I first started this particular short video is one that I learned in 1990. I think it was actually August. It could have been September, but it was early sobriety for me. And a gentleman by the name of Cy Lawrence had said that within each of us, there's a white dog and a black dog. And, so many of us have heard this story. It's a native tradition story, but it was one that was shared by many indigenous peoples. And he referred to the one that came from the Iroquois tradition. And it was the black dog and the white dog. That one's not so popular today. I think people prefer to do the wolf because the wolf sounds cooler or something, and maybe it is, I don't know, but I like the dog one because it's the first one I heard. I don't know, like I'm a duck and I imprinted to my parent or something, but that's the one that works for me. But I found it ironic that when I've shared the story of the black dog and the white dog, sometimes people have called it racist, as if it has anything to do with the color of our skin. So they try to sanitize it by calling it the good dog and the bad dog, or the good wolf and the bad wolf. Fine, whatever, whatever trips your trigger. I am not putting down how somebody comes into contact with this higher principle. But let's not get distracted by this BS that people keep throwing down on us about what's really important in life. Let's not get distracted. Don't let your resentments get in the way of our Creator's love. So if you feed the white dog, as the stories go, then the good things in your life will grow. And if you feed the black dog, then the bad things will grow. And the story goes, a young person was speaking to an elder and asked, well, what do I do about this? And he told the story about these two dogs. And he said that they were fighting and that the fight just seemed to go on and on and on. And then he didn't finish the story with a who's victorious message. He let the young person ask it, and the young person said, well, who won? Who wins such a thing? Who won? He said, well, the one that you feed. And our ego is like that. If you feed our ego, ego, edging God out, if you will, then the black dog wins. But if the ego is being fed by a higher consciousness, then when we see the ego, which it exists in the illusion, but we see it in terms of the God filter. We have our God glasses on, and we see that in God's economy, nothing is wasted, including ego. So it serves a higher purpose. But it's interesting, probably one of the differentiating things between animals and humans, not that we're not animals, is that we are the only ones, apparently, that can imagine something that doesn't exist. We can talk about something that doesn't exist, like resentments. Are resentments real, or are they a distraction? Are they like the Buddhists? The Buddhists say that it's the illusion and it doesn't really exist. And Christ said Satan, and which I consider to be ego, Satan, you know, got a thinking problem, you know, the horns, the thinking problem. Satan is an ego, but Christ said there is no truth in him. And if there's no truth in Satan, then how can we talk about it? If he's a liar and there is no truth in him, then you see the paradox? So, you know, in my opinion, all peace begins with paradox. And all conflict leads to, for the prepared soul, to the surrendered heart. You know, surrender your heart to your higher power. We, by that surrendering, align with the higher vibration. We align deeper than the offense that the ego perceives. It's like forgiveness. Forgiveness is about forgiving the illusion. It is our perception that we have to forgive. You know, there's no such thing as reality. There's only perception, is something I've heard, and I can't really claim that as true, being absolutely true, absolutely false. But what do we do with the perception that we have? It's like forgiveness runs deeper than the offense that requires its presence. Forgiveness runs deeper than the offense, which requires its presence. So the offense serves a higher purpose, and forgiveness serves a higher purpose because it admits love back into our lives through forgiveness, because forgiveness is one form of love. Anything that is good in life is of love, and anything that isn't is a distraction. I prefer to call it a distraction. So align with the things that matter. And just remember that you are loved. And if you love someone, you will always have love in your life. And that is the choice. And you heard it from the incomplete skeptic. Peace out, y'all. God